Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. What a day. What a time in all of our lives. LSU head coach Lane Kiffin. How does that sound? Let's ask Peter Burns.
This week in the SEC with Peter Burns.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Let's separate the contenders from the pretenders.
Number 11 of the defense. Throwing the LSU player's shoe 20 yards down the field.
With Peter Burns of the SEC Network. Presented by Blue Delta Jeans.
Yo, Peter, man, how are you?
You know, I'm sitting here at Little Tiger Joe's first basketball practice, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I'm ready. Is this kid going to be Chris Jackson? Is this kid going to be Pistol Pete Maravich? And then all of a sudden I get like 15 phone calls, 30 texts, and the kids are like, what's going on? And I'm trying to explain to my kids, well, there was an airplane that was spotted in the city, but then this guy is the boss of 100 people on a team that wears blue, but then he might be wearing a different shade of blue next year in Florida, but then maybe purple and gold, and they're all going to make a lot more money than we'll ever have in our lives. So that's why I'm trying to explain the coaching search to my kids.
Got it. So good. Coaching searches are awesome. Okay, I want you to answer this question. How does this sound? LSU head football coach Lane Kiffin.
Chaotic, awesome, interesting, weird, disgusting. I mean, I like every single emotion, and traditionally that's every single emotion that comes with LSU football over the last probably 20 years.
Isn't it
so,
awesome?
I mean, like,
so good.
I mean, this is it's fun, but again, when you look at it, I'm like, I also look at it from the other side of it too. And again, there are two different people you're talking to. You're talking to Peter Burns, the anchor of the SEC Network. You're talking to Peter Burns, the LSU fan. Like, which one am I answering here?
First, Peter Burns, the LSU fan.
So curious about it, right? And if for no other reason, can you imagine a world in which Lane looks at it and like he's pretty much got 1 foot out of the door against the Florida to the Florida Gators, and leading him down the aisle, and then all of a sudden just ruin kind of what Ole Miss has built right there. And I sit there and I go, gosh, like the troll LSU fan in me would love to see that. But then I can't shut off the other side of it, too. And I'm just like, can you imagine being in the middle of your run? And I guess this is what it was kind of like, I guess, the Les Miles days when he had to come out and say, I'm not going to Michigan, have a nice day. Like, we've dealt with a little bit of that, and I feel bad for the damn Rebel fans who are having the greatest season they've ever had.
Well, the better comp has got to be Nick leaving LSU to go to the Dolphins. I didn't leave for an SEC school, but I think it's the feeling of knowing that you've given him everything he wants. And he's had great amounts of success and will always have whatever resources, like we'll give whatever he needs. but he's still longing for something else.
But you could stomach that, right? You could stomach that as an LSU because you're like, hey, listen, man, that's a siren song that I can't pony up. There's not a contract. There's not an NIL deal that saves this. It's this him wanting to go check out the league, and this is not the situation with Lane. And I still think all of this comes around that Jimmy Sexton got pissed off that none of his clients, he couldn't remove the chess game last year. And there were no different SEC new coaches. So, I mean, that holiday bonus got to come in somehow.
Yeah. It's going to be fascinating how it plays out. So let me ask Peter Burns of the SEC Network his thoughts on what's happening right now with Lane having wandering eyes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I look at it, and I said it on the show this morning. Lane's been there for 6 years. He's built that program into where it's at right now. The coaching staff, the players come to the SIP. Like, it's amazing. And so it doesn't bother me if he sits there and looks at other jobs. After 6 years, I get it. The other part about this deal, though, now that gets kind of interesting is that I just don't like the way that Lane has gone about having all of those, the way that he handles it on social media. Like, I mean, that's a bad look. Just like, dude, just log off. Like, because there's going to reach a point where the Ole Miss fans are just sick and tired of having those conversations and seeing these cryptic tweets. Right.
What do you mean about how he's handled social media?
Think about it. If you're out there and your family's out there taking other jobs or taking other, trips to go on recruiting trips, which is, by all accounts, that's what's happening in Baton Rouge and Gainesville over the last 48 hours. And yet, a day ago you send a story or you post a story about this Lane Kiffin 2026 Ole Miss visor. Like, what are you doing here? Like why are you even playing with anybody's emotions? Like, I think it'd be a lot better if Lane just said, listen, I don't know what I'm going to do. I love it here. We're building something great, and I'm going to have other options. I'm going to take a look at it, but then just be a little bit more upfront with everybody.
PB, I think the challenge there, and you tell me if you know differently, but the best information I have is that Ole Miss is pressing him to make a decision. They've had a contract on the table. They've got the Egg Bowl. They've got a playoff. And it's like you're like he's, if you're married, but he's looking at someone else. Like you can't date other people. You got to be committed, right? So I think Ole Miss is probably pressing this a little bit more. I think he would be content. Do you agree? I don't know if you agree, but I think Lane would be content to wait through the playoff and then make a decision. It just doesn't feel like Ole Miss is going to allow that.
No, and think about what's happened right now is that the transfer portal, early signing period opens in 2 or 3 weeks, and then the transfer portal opens up on January 2nd. So that's what I'm saying. And all joking aside, as much as I don't like the way that he's tweeted about this and kind of been a little bit, attention grabbing on social media, I brought this up, Matt. I don't know what you're supposed to say, right? Like, walk me through it. Like, what makes everybody happy in this situation? I mean, I understand that he's going to look at other jobs, but how do you even navigate those worlds and those waters right here, right now?
Yeah. Peter Burns with us at Peter Burns ESPN on Twitter.
What would you say? What would you say?
Well, the answer is what Dan Lanning said. Dan Lanning told Rich Eisen, "I'm not leaving Oregon, definitively." But if you're planning to leave Ole Miss, then you're not going to say, "I'm not leaving Ole Miss." So. You do what he's done, which makes it awkward for everybody, but that's the bed he made, PB, so he's got to lay in it.
Yeah, and I mean, again, that's the situation. I joked around on my show, kind of not forcing the issue, but I said, hey, man, if Lane's going to stay at Ole Miss, there would be never a better time in a man who loves content that after he won and beat the hell out of Florida, if he would have gotten on the PA announcer system at Vaught Hemingway and gone full Wolf of Wall Street and said, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. They would have carried him on their shoulders to the Grove and the library, and they had a great time. But when that day didn't happen, you realize, there's something there, and that's fine. There's no issue with that. But and I think he's handled it well in press conferences. Just don't toy a fan base whatsoever. Because guess what? If he was LSU's coach in 5 years from now and he's doing great and he starts flirting with people, I wouldn't want that done to me as an LSU fan. I wouldn't want that done if I was a Florida Gator fan. So just touch a little grass, log off, and figure it out.
There's two other things I want to ask you about. Is Texas out of the playoff?
I don't see how they're in. I mean, there's so many other teams. I mean, USC, Oregon kind of knocks one of them out over this weekend. But And you still got Vanderbilt in that equation. BYU, if they end up beating Texas Tech again, Utah's right there, which, by the way, what a load that was with the Utah athletic director getting put on the college football playoff committee. Like, that's just a joke. Like, I mean, just, you think that's happenstance? I mean, come on. Like, again, no sitting athletic director should ever be a part of the college football playoff. Like, and I swear to God, if Verge or whoever gets offered that opportunity, if they take it, they're dead to me. They're absolutely dead to me.
I mean, there always are, though, PB. I mean, I'm with you. It's ridiculous. I don't think we should have a committee. A committee's stupid. But my follow-up, though, is if Texas is out, and ultimately we look back and go, the reason you're out is because you lost the opener to Ohio State, does that disincentivize teams from playing those games?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody's waiting to look at. And that's why Commissioner Sankey sat there and says, all right, what's this formula going to look like? Because are you going to say that what Virginia has had to deal with this season, or even the Big Ten, is that the same as the SEC gauntlet? And now they're going to go to 9 conference games? Like, if that's the place, go play, South by Southwest Louisiana Tech School of Amish Technology. Like, go play somebody. Go like Florida and go play Long Island, which I still think is an AI-generated school that they played in week 1 against the Sharks.
South by Southwest Louisiana Amish School of Technology.
Yeah, they're the Rake Fighters, just in case you didn't know their mascot, the Rake Fighters.
That's not fitting on the hat. Remember the game hats with the bar logos?
Mm-hmm.
That's not fitting on there. All those, it's just not. You'd have to go to like a 12-point font instead of 72. It's the only way it fits. Hey, is Bama going to lose the Iron Bowl?
Tell you what, it's not a good fit for them. I mean, that was the reason why I picked Oklahoma. It's just Alabama's just won. Golly, man. And I know the Bama's burning type deal, but it's just a bad matchup, right? I mean, they can't run the ball right now. They're very one-dimensional. And can you imagine that chaos? Can you imagine? Okay, so think about that chaos. And then what if LSU ruins it for Oklahoma? What if Vanderbilt beats Tennessee and wins out? I'm all in for that. Like, give me Diego Pavia before anybody else in the college football playoff. Like, let's have some fun with it.
Give me chaos and give me Alabama losing. You chumps! I done told you. I'll get to that in a little bit. He's Peter Burns at Peter Burns ESPN is where you can follow him. Of course, on the SEC Network, brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans, BlueDeltaJeans.com. Tell Tiger Joe we said all the best and better times ahead in Tigerland.
All right, I got my daughter Bo now running agility drills here at the gym. We got some athletes coming in the Burns household. Just tell Beth Serena to get that scholarship ready. Her or Gary Runyon, we're going to get a golf scholarship, all right?
We're at Beth, either Beth or Nick Terina. I'm certain one of them is listening right now, and so we'll get that ready. Just keep Bo away from all the houndstooth crap. All right,
we're good.
All right,
no problem.
Fantastic. Thank you, Peter.
Bye.
See ya. That's Peter Burns. It's AFR. We're presented by Evermore. Thank goodness for Evermore. I've been pounding Evermore this weekend. Erica's sick. My wife got sick. We went and watched Better Than Ezra Friday night, outdoor concert. She woke up Saturday, had that drip in her throat. It's kind of the nasty gunk that everybody kind of gets when it gets cold outside. So you got to hydrate. If you're sick, hydrate. Better form of hydration, Evermore. EVAMOR. You want to know how you stay healthy? A big part of it, stay hydrated. And drink natural artesian water, drink Evermore. Great local Louisiana product with national distribution. You want to find the location nearest you that has Evermore, go to evermore.com. EVAMOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. Hit the store locator on the drop-down. Excuse me. Type in your area code. Not your area code, your zip code. Type in your zip code. And when you hit the store locator on the drop-down, it says find a store. Type in your zip code, and then boom, it'll pop up all the stores nearest you. Evermore, drink Evermore. EVAMOR, evermore.com. All right, it is after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. We have not yet talked Saints. They are getting ready to welcome in the Atlanta Falcons, and this is going to be a short-handed Atlanta team as they might be down 2 of their top offensive players. We're going to delve into that as we come back. You can get your calls, texts, emails, tweets. Well, not really calls. We haven't taken a call in like 15 years. But you can get your emails, tweets, or texts in 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways to get involved. Stay here. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
That boy, Muse. Just step all over it. We're brought to you by Rev. Switch to Rev, Louisiana's largest privately owned and operated internet service provider. 5-star customer service and reliability, powered by an all-fiber network and backed by 90 years of local service, local support teams right here in South Louisiana, from the river to the lake to the bayou. You know, Rev services nearly 70,000 residential and business customers in all the parishes that we call home. Baton Rouge, Gonzales, Prairieville, Plaquemine, Denham, Springfield, Hammond, Ponchatoula, Covington, Mandeville, LaPlace, the place. Reserve, Thibodaux, Houma, LaRose, Grand Isle, Rev services, all of them with great local service. Faster, more reliable internet, speeds up to 5 gigs, Wi-Fi equipment included at no additional cost. So many reasons to switch to Rev. So what are you waiting on? Go to letsrev.com, letsrev.com, R-E-V, letsrev.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Definitely one that we've talked a lot about. Obviously, this will be my first experience. I'm excited about this opportunity. We know the importance of certainly your division games, certainly with these guys, the rich history of this game. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think as this week progresses, a lot of us are going to get to experience it for the first time, which we're excited for.
Saints head coach Kellen Moore, Monday, as the Saints back on the field, getting ready to work, back in the building, getting ready to work toward this Sunday's game against the Atlanta Falcons. And they're going to take on a Falcons team that apparently is going to be very shorthanded, as both Michael Penix and Drake London were injured in Sunday's game against the Carolina Panthers, a game that the Panthers won. Raheem Morris, after the game, had this update on the two players.
Obviously, he left the game, was ruled out. Go see where the knee is and where he's at. Drake London. The same report. Obviously, he left the game, and after that sluggo attempt in the end zone, and wasn't able to return.
So not much to say there post-game, but here on Monday, Ian Rappaport, NFL Network, elaborated in the news for the Falcons, not good.
Yeah, Falcons are now looking at the possibility that 2 of their best players will miss the next game at least. We'll see. Both players are getting tested today, but we'll start with Drake London, the star receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. My understanding is he has a knee injury. It is not considered to be major, but it is also not considered to be nothing. So there's a very real possibility that London will miss a game or multiple games pending the results of his MRI today. Not considered to be season-ending or significant, but certainly something where they could be without him. Meanwhile, for Michael Penix Jr., another knee injury and another bone bruise, the same bone bruise. Our understanding, and this is something I reported with Tom Pelissero, is that Penix re-aggravated the bone bruise in the same knee from earlier in the season that robbed him of 1 game. This likely means that he will not be on the field this week as he heals. And sometimes, as we saw with Brock Purdy, if there's an aggravation, you could miss multiple games. So Kirk Cousins could end up starting this week.
So it looks like as the New Orleans Saints are back on the field, they will not be facing Michael Penix, that it'll be Kirk Cousins going for the Atlanta Falcons. And look, there's a lot of intrigue in this game. There's a lot of intrigue in this game from the Saints standpoint because you're getting to continue evaluating Tyler Shuck. He'll make his 3rd start, coming off his first win, an open date. Can you continue to progress? I'll point out also, because I'm assuming you didn't watch Sunday's game with the Panthers and the Falcons, but Bryce Young, yes, the Bryce Young who was leading Carolina, who went into that game 30th in the NFL in passing offense, to a franchise record 448 passing yards. That's the Atlanta Falcons secondary you'll be going against in the Dome on Sunday. And you'll get to see Tyler Shuck make his 3rd start, hopefully a little more comfortable, coming off of an open date where you get a little healthier. And the flip side of it also is you're looking at 2 teams right now, the Saints and the Falcons, who are both jockeying for position at the bottom of the NFL standings. With Atlanta's loss, they dropped to 3-7 on the season. Carolina's above 500. They're 6-5 now. So the Falcons at 3-7 are kind of in that mix for the worst record in the NFL. So it depends what you're playing for. I mean, you know what my feeling is here. It's very much that I want to see the Saints win. Like it's a bit of a contradiction and maybe a dose of irony to think that the best thing that could happen would be the worst thing. Like the best thing that could happen is Chuck's great, you keep winning. Now you're not going to win anything of significance this year. You've already dug yourself too deep of a hole. But I would rather have a great run here to finish the season for the New Orleans Saints, and knowing going into your offseason that you're saddling up behind Tyler Shuck and you're going to build around him instead of feeling like you have to go into the draft looking for your franchise quarterback. So I get it, you're 2-8 right now. I mean, I don't have any delusions of grandeur here. I understand what you are, and it's not going to be a playoff team. But could you beat the Falcons? Could you win at the Dolphins? Could you beat the Jets at home? Could you win at the Titans? Sure. I mean, what if you end up around 6-7 wins this year? I mean, that would be a huge step from the way you started this season, sort of progressing into next year. So that's worth keeping an eye on, and we'll certainly get more of a sense of what's going on in Atlanta this week, as it appears as though Kirk Cousins will start the game in New Orleans this weekend. All right, we're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. By the way, there is a report now, another Lane Kiffin report that I'm going to get to in just a quick second. Let me remind you about First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. It doesn't matter for what you are looking to buy land. 1,000 acres for agriculture. Maybe you want to build your family's dream home in Clinton or St. Francisville or Covington or wherever it may be. You need 100 acres, 20 acres. They can help you. Or maybe you want to buy that recreational property, that hunting property. Maybe it's an investment property. Listen, we're here in the middle of November, and you're looking at that opportunity maybe for some tax relief before you get to the end of the year. Buying recreational timber property could be a great investment. Ask your CPA and see if that makes sense for you. And so many people who buy land already own land. So maybe you take some equity you currently have, roll it into a new property. First South Farm Credit can help you with all of those questions. It's First South Farm Credit. Go to FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, FirstSouthLand.com. There is a little bit of breaking news here. Stuart Mandel, who I guess is now with The Athletic, is that right? Stuart Mandel just tweeted a report, which is something that I think we've talked about here, but he has now put definition to it. Stuart Mandel just tweeted, Ole Miss has told Lane Kiffin he needs to decide by the November 28th Egg Bowl whether he's staying at LSU or taking either the staying at Ole Miss or taking either the Florida or LSU job. So now they have put definition behind their demand. A week ago when we were here, and I told you that I didn't think Ole Miss would let Lane Kiffin coach the playoff. I wasn't guessing, because that was the conversation making its way throughout all of the Ole Miss circles, throughout the agent world, the coaching world, that they were not going to let Lane Kiffin coach in the playoff. And it certainly appears as though if he's leaving, they're not even going to let him coach in the Egg Bowl. And I know, listen, I don't know what Lane Kiffin is going to choose to do. I'm going to continue to reiterate that. I want to be so abundantly clear so there are no misconceptions about what I'm saying. I do not know if Lane Kiffin is going to take the LSU job. I do not know if Lane Kiffin is going to take the Florida job. I do not know if Lane Kiffin is going to stay at Ole Miss. He has 3 really good options on the table. What I have said and will continue to say, which is crystallizing now, is anyone who was pushing aside the idea of Lane Kiffin to LSU, you can clearly see now, there's very sincere mutual interest there. That doesn't mean he's going to pick LSU. He could pick Florida. He could choose to stay at Ole Miss. But the things that are abundantly clear right now, from what we know, Ole Miss is not letting him continue to coach there if he's leaving. And they want an answer. And I don't blame them. Not one iota. And he's got to give them that answer. By the Egg Bowl. Or they're not going to let him coach the Egg Bowl, and they're sure not going to let him coach in the playoff if he's not going to continue being their coach. Now, the other side of that, which I want to talk about here, let me grab a break. We'll come back on the other side of this, is what that means for the calendar, the coaching calendar here, with Kiffin and the timing of all of this. So we'll do that as we continue here. It's a Monday edition of AFR. We are presented by Relief Windows. Windows, door, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters too. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. When we come back, we'll continue on the Kiffin conversation. If you got a question or a comment, you can tweet me at Matt Moscona. You could jump at the Bayou Ford YouTube chat and the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. You could text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Stay here.
After further review.
Y'all, they started getting Christmas trees at Clegg's Nursery yesterday. Time is here, man. Get on. It for so many is the most wonderful time of year. I know in our household, for my wife, that is the case. Erica loves her some Christmas. She loves to decorate for some Christmas. And when it comes time for Christmas, we are going to Clegg's Nursery. You can get by any of the 4 locations: Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Christmas trees are there, and the Poinsettia Open House is coming up Saturday, November the 29th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Clegg's Nursery Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. If you want to get info, it's all there on their Facebook page, but just write it down. Santa pictures, kids activities, treats, 10,000 poinsettias. Make sure you mark it down at Clegg's Nursery.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And we do shutters too.
I'm glad you're with us here on this Monday edition of AFR. The Tigers beat Arkansas over the weekend to snap their losing streak. There is a tumult at the quarterback position as Colin Hurley is taking a personal leave from the program. And nobody really cares right now because the story that's going to dominate our conversation and a story that is certainly gaining so much traction nationally is what's happening right now with Lane Kiffin. Earlier today at LouisianaSports.net, we reported that Lane Kiffin's ex-wife, Layla Kiffin, is visiting Baton Rouge today. There were many reports that she was in Gainesville a day ago. You follow the flight tracker thing. There was a plane. The Advocate reported that LSU sent a plane to pick up. They didn't report Layla Kiffin. We at LouisianaSports.net reported. The Advocate reported it was a Kiffin family member or members. But we have confirmed at LouisianaSports.net that it is Layla Kiffin that's in Baton Rouge today. And the story here continues to evolve. The latest is that Stuart Mandel has reported that Ole Miss has given Lane Kiffin an ultimatum. He's got until the Egg Bowl, November 28th, to let them know if he's staying at Ole Miss or if he's leaving for Florida or LSU. The timing of that makes sense certainly from Ole Miss's standpoint. And it also makes sense and is really beneficial if you're LSU or Florida in this instance. So follow me here. Just quickly from the Ole Miss side of it, and then I'll get into what people care about more deeply here, of course, which is the LSU side. From Ole Miss's perspective, I understand what everybody has said, that why would you shove Lane Kiffin out the door when you're about to be in the playoff? He gives you a chance to win. You haven't won in 60 years, so on. Well, there's multiple components of this. There's obviously the component that you're not going to let Lane Kiffin coach your team when he's taken a job somewhere else in your league. And I don't know that that's foolish pride. And you and I may say, well, they're Ole Miss. That's what you are. At some point, they have to believe more highly of themselves. And if you look at the last half decade, Ole Miss has won more games than any other team in the SEC not named Alabama and Georgia. So crack whatever jokes you want. We've all done it. Runts, the 03 SEC West champion banner in the stadium, all the stuff. That's embarrassing. And I get it. But at some point, what do you value yourself as? I'll keep giving you the relationship example. If your spouse was dating someone else, like, would you still be married to that person? No. Like, you have to make a decision and make a commitment. One side is willing to commit, the other isn't. So you have to cut it off at some point. Because what happens then for Ole Miss is if you prolong this with Lane Kiffin through the playoff, then you have Kiffin continuing to coach your team while actively working for someone else, actively recruiting a roster for another team for the next year. And every time that your team is in the playoff, which, by the way, they beat Mississippi State, they're going to be the 5 seed. They're going to be 11-1. They're going to be the 5 seed. They're going to host an a first-round game, probably against the G5 representative, which they're going to win. And so then they'd go play in a quarterfinal game, I don't know, at the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, whatever it would be, and you'd have Kiffin on the field there as well. And the whole conversation around that game is going to be Kiffin coaching for someone else next year. And so now that becomes an advertisement for the other school. Like, I understand not allowing that completely if you're Ole Miss. So, they've given him an ultimatum. The other part of it for Ole Miss is if he is leaving, they need to get in the market for a coach. If Lane Kiffin's going to leave, and let's say they covet John Sumrall, well, all the scuttle is that John Sumrall is Auburn's target. So, I mean, John Sumrall is from Texas. He's coached in the state of Alabama. He was the head coach at Troy. And if Auburn covets John Sumrall and Ole Miss wants to get in on that action, well, you got to know. Like, you have to have a decision. Is Lane Kiffin your coach, or are you hiring a new coach? And you don't want to get into that market after the playoff. So I get it. I totally get Ole Miss giving Lane Kiffin this ultimatum. The worst part about this is the football calendar. If the signing period or the portal period all happened after the season, this wouldn't be an issue. Kiffin could coach through the playoff, and then if he wanted to leave after, he could. But that's just not how the calendar works, because whether you want to roll your eyes at it or not, there's still an academic calendar that everyone has to abide by. So the semester is going to start in early January, and you got to have guys enrolled. So if there's and by the way, it's one of the reasons that I liked the spring portal period. Now, coaches didn't want it. They voted to eliminate the spring portal period. Spring portal period would solve some of this anyway. But you got a December signing period. You're going to not have a coach in place for your December signing period? So if, in this instance, LSU is pursuing Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss imposing a deadline there, Ole Miss imposing a deadline on Kiffin actually benefits you if you're LSU, because that means you're going to have an answer from Lane Kiffin by Thanksgiving, if not sooner. I mean, I don't know the timeline that the Kiffins are working on. I don't know if Layla Kiffin leaves Baton Rouge today and they're making a decision tonight or tomorrow. I do not have that answer. What I do know is Ole Miss is going into their open date, and then they play the Egg Bowl. So if you're Ole Miss's athletic director, Keith Carter, and you've given an ultimatum of November the 28th, why wait? If he's going to be gone, why go through your open date and the week leading up to the Egg Bowl? If Lane decides tonight that he's leaving Ole Miss, then announce tonight or tomorrow. I don't know what he's going to do. He could ultimately decide to stay. I don't know that he will. It sure seems like if that was going to be his decision, he could have decided that a long time ago. But the timing of this erases one of the most gigantic question marks, red flags that LSU, and I'm just looking through the LSU lens here, would have had in this whole Lane Kiffin conversation, which is the timing. Because if you wanted to pursue Kiffin, and Kiffin coached Ole Miss through the playoff, and you weren't going to get him and get it done until after the playoff, then that complicates everything for 2026 and beyond. Because you wouldn't have your coach in place for your December signing period or the January portal period. So, and you would have had to have had like a wink, wink, nod, nod, wink, nod, handshake under the table type deal with your coach that wasn't announced. Maybe everybody would have leaked. Maybe everybody would have known. Maybe you could try to tell recruits. But then if you don't have anything signed, would he actually stay true to that? Could you land him after the playoff? Would he stay? What if they made a run and he had a change of heart? I mean, you think a couple of years ago, Kalen DeBoer coached Washington in the national championship game. This was in the 14 playoff. He coached Washington in the national championship game. And then later Nick Saban retired. And then DeBoer left Washington for Alabama. Brian Kelly left Notre Dame when the final playoff announcement hadn't been made. Now, we all knew Notre Dame wasn't getting in, but they were right there on the cusp. There's still a possibility. This is one of those where Ole Miss is in. They're 10-1. Their only loss is a close road loss to Georgia. Even if they lose to State, they're 10-2. They're in the playoff. So this would be an unprecedented thing here for a coach leaving his school that's going to make the playoff. And I think that probably eats at Lane Kiffin. Like if that weren't the reality, like if they already had a second loss, like if they had lost to Florida on Saturday, I think this might already be done. But is that whatever eats at him, what the perception of this move might be for his reputation, which he's worked very hard to rebuild? Is that enough to make him turn on opportunities at elite level programs that will give him more resources than Ole Miss will? But we're going to find out. We're going to find out apparently before November the 28th. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, ARCCO, Arco.com. This is industrial Generac generator power. So, we talk all the time about like home standby generators. This is not that. This is not for your home. Do not call Arco thinking you're getting someone that's going to install a home standby generator. Arco Power Systems installs industrial critical backup energy solutions for the industrial sector, for your business. And it doesn't matter what type of business you run. It doesn't matter if you're a radio station, if you're a grocery store, if you're a gas station, if you're an engineering firm, if it's a school, a government, municipality, whatever it may be. When the storm comes, the power goes out, you have to have backup power options, and Arco Power Systems provides that. They have for 4 decades. Home base is right here in Baton Rouge on Airline Highway. Incredible facility and incredible business that they've built with offices up in Little Rock, east to Mobile, west to San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Austin, and all over Louisiana. If you're a business owner anywhere in that footprint and you need backup power for your business, you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, ARCCO, Arco.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review. Glad you're with us here on a pretty crazy Monday presented by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. I do want to get to the latest on the LSU quarterback situation. We'll get to that after the top of the hour. Colin Hurley has taken an indefinite leave from the team. Frank Wilson gave an update on Garrett Nussmeier Monday. Could it be Michael Van Buren's second start this weekend against Western Kentucky? A lot of that to get into, and we will here in about 15 minutes. Let me knock out a break, come back. We'll do Tigers and the Pros, and we'll continue to track this Lane Kiffin story as it moves here throughout the day. Stay with us on AFR.
After further review.
We are in the busiest real estate month on the calendar in our market. Did you know that? November is the busiest real estate month in the Baton Rouge market on the calendar. And the reason actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it. A lot of people that want to move before the end of the year, you want to start the new year in your new home, or you want to celebrate Christmas in your new home, you got to start now. So you need to list your home. You need to sell your home. You need the realtor that's going to get your home sold fast for more money than anyone else. That's Darren James. There's 1.5 million realtors in America. 1.5 million. Fill up Tiger Stadium 10 times. I guess actually 15 times. 1.5 million. Darren James, number 14 in the country on the transaction side, the number of homes sold. So you need to get to closing fast for the most money. You need Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
All right, you can text the show 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Jason said, Matt, how can Ole Miss force Lane Kiffin to make a decision? Is that part of his contract? Thanks, Jason. It's a good question, Jason, but if you think about it logically, it actually makes perfect sense. I mean, he can still be under contract, and they don't allow him to coach the team. If they know he's going to be and it forces his hand to make a decision. And then whatever that exit, that separation looks like contractually, they can have that conversation. Very likely this is Lane Kiffin's, like they're not going to fire him per se, but if he's going to be leaving for another job, then he would exit and he would have to pay a buyout. I do not have the exact number, but the buyout for Lane to leave is substantially less than the buyout if Ole Miss were to fire him. So if you're looking at Lane Kiffin's buyout, it's not the number for that Ole Miss would pay him if he was fired. It's the number another school would pay if he were to leave, to let him out of that contract, which is significantly less and would not be a sticking point here. So it's literally that simple. You'd say they're saying you're not coaching the team. That they can contractually do it. He's an employee. They can say you're not coaching the team. I mean, there's no different that if I walked in here today and Gordy Rush was standing outside the door and said, Matt, you're not doing your show today. We're not letting you in. We're not letting you in the studio. Like, you're still employed here, but you're not doing the show. Okay, well, then we're going to go look at my contract, and then we're going to look at how we're exiting this, right? I mean, it actually makes perfectly logical sense. He's an employee. They have the right to know what they're going to do, and then they'll have their exit strategy as such after that if he does, in fact, leave. So, but now that this – one more thing, and we'll do Tigers and the Pros. One more thing. Now that this is out there, and I'm speculating, okay, and I'm going to be very clear when I feel like I'm giving you information when I'm speculating. Like, we reported information today at Louisiana Sports Sunday that Layla Kiffin's in Baton Rouge. This is me speculating. Now that this is out there after this weekend, where greatest crowd ever at Vaught Hemingway Stadium, Lane won't commit to the job. Now this story is that Layla Kiffin was in Gainesville yesterday, in Baton Rouge today. Stuart Mandel just gave the report that Ole Miss has told Lane Kiffin, you have to decide by the 28th, by the Egg Bowl. Now that all of this is out there, it sure feels like this doesn't ever get quiet. And with every passing minute, it just continues to bubble over. So, again, me speculating, it is hard for me to imagine Lane Kiffin waiting 2 more weeks of this to make a decision. All right, it's after further review. Muso, Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, Jamar Chase has been suspended for 1 game because he spit on Jalen Ramsey on Sunday.
Come on, dog.
He lied about it in the post-game.
What are you doing, bro?
I spit on Ramsey. Ramsey threw a punch.
Love you, but come on, man.
And Chase will sit out. He had 30 yards receiving in that ball game. Let's see. Danielle Hunter at it again. 4 tackles yesterday for the Texans. 1.5 sack in the ball game as well. 3 hits on the quarterback. He's now up to 9 sacks on the season, keeping him top 5 in the NFL. Derek Stingley added 4 tackles in the ball game as well, and a pass defensed. So a couple of former Tigers doing quite well there. Dante Jackson for the Los Angeles Chargers, had a tackle and an interception on the day. The interception, his 3rd, which places him top 5 in the league. How about Arden Key? Really nice day for Arden Key as well. Dealt with some injuries, missed 3 games, as a matter of fact. Returned 3 tackles and a sack and a half for him as well. Also 3 hits on the quarterback. Solid all around. And Grant Delpit. 4 stops in the ball game for him. 3 of those came solo. Patrick Queen leading the Pittsburgh Steelers once again in tackles. 10 of those for him in the Steelers win over Cincinnati.
meant to tie him together with Chase. That's my bad. That's Tigers and the Pros.
Presented by Supper Club. Supper Club, BTR.com. Supper Club, BTR.com. I tell you what, to the Kiffin family, take the LSU job. I'll take you to Supper Club, my treat. I'm sure they're just aching to go to dinner with me, right? I'll sweeten the pot.
I think you just sealed the deal. Actually, right there. Let's report it. Here we go.
I'll sweeten the pot. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com. Y'all, the holidays are here. Maybe you're having a holiday work party, get together, gathering friends. Maybe you want to go celebrate the holiday season. Supper Club's a great spot to do it. LSU's got one more home game. Great spot to be on a Friday before a home game or any day. Listen, they're closed Sunday, Monday, so they're closed right now. But they'll be reopened tomorrow, Tuesday through Saturday. There's just no better place to have the best possible dining experience and the best experience that you'll have anywhere in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or darn near anywhere in the country. It's Supper Club. Book your reservations at SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. If you've never been or you haven't been in a while, it's time to experience Supper Club. Reservations today at SupperClubBTR.com. Text it. I'll pay for the apps. Let's all pitch in. I think they can afford it, no matter where he's coaching next year. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Sports Center coming up. Little LSU quarterback talk and more Kiffin drama next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. We're nearing the end of the year. I'm going to remind you again, if you have HSA or FSA funds, don't let them expire at the end of the year. Call Dr. Blake Williamson, set up that consultation. By the way, the consultation that you'll have first before you meet Dr. Blake, you can do this in 10 to 15 minutes. You can do it over the phone, virtual, Zoom, or go in. Have that consultation, which is basically a fact-finding mission, just to find out what your current situation is, what options they may have available, to determine if you think you want to proceed. It's just a fact-finding mission. Like, it's free. You can do it on your lunch break. You can do it on your ride to work, your ride home. Just set up that consultation to start that process today toward having sight, 20/20 vision without contacts or glasses. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com.